This is the Wayne Madsen Report, the new 2-hour Sunday roundup of news and views. And before I introduce our guest, I want to play this clip. This is a news conference in the early years of Bill Clinton's administration. And you'll hear Sarah McClendon, who I described before the break, asking President Clinton a question, which I can guarantee you this type of question would certainly not be asked of President Obama about any of his secret deals in the president atmosphere. But I want you to listen to what Sarah McClendon asked President Clinton at a White House press conference, and listen to Clinton's rather nervous response to that question, if we can play this clip.
Sir, the Republicans are trying to blame you for the existence of a small air base at Mena, Arkansas. This base was set up by George Bush and Oliver North and the CIA to help the Iran-Contras, and they brought in plane load after plane load of cocaine there for sale in the United States. And then they took the money and bought weapons and took them back to the Contras, all of which was illegal, as you know, under the Bolin Act. But tell me, did they tell you that this had to be in existence because of national security?
Well, let me answer the question. No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything to me about it. The airport in question and all the events in question were the subject of state and federal inquiries. It was primarily a matter for federal jurisdiction. The state really had next to nothing to do with it. The local prosecutor did conduct an investigation based on what was within the jurisdiction of state law. The rest of it was under the jurisdiction of the United States attorneys, who were appointed successively by previous administrations. We had nothing, zero, to do with it, and everybody who's ever looked into it knows that.
Well, that's actually not true what President Clinton said. A lot of people knew about it. But let me introduce John Hurley to the program. And, John, I guess that might bring back a few memories, that clip.
Oh, yeah, it sure does. Yeah, of course, as you know, I was... yeah, we had a situation. I was the president and chairman of the Confederate Memorial Association Museum and Library in Washington. And at the time, in 1986, which is before they really Hassenfoss's plane went down,
right?
They were trying to bring in pilots and all and have them stay at the hall. We were at this museum, which was about 8 blocks from the White House. And I noticed that I was not being let on a lot of things, and it was all kind of all super spooky. So that was like in June of '86, and I noticed they had a rather unattractive attitude toward other people and the domestic population as well here. So we were trying to be polite and so on. And then they tried to organize a freedom fighter night at the hall, and I knew that we were a 501c3, and if you couple that with the unattractive references that they made to other people here, we just didn't fit in with our culture. So I asked them to please seek another venue.
Right, and I would just add that Sarah McClendon, who we just heard ask Clinton that embarrassing question, at least embarrassing to Clinton, was a member of your Museum and Halls Association's board, right?
Yeah, she was on the board, and as were a number of other distinguished people that I don't think would, be qualify as being anything like a great supporter of the country. One was on the board of the Daughters of the American Revolution. She was the curator general of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Then we had people who were distinguished military people and so on who were on the board. So it wasn't a ragtag organization. It had been in existence for 100 years. So it wasn't, the creation of somebody's recent imagination either.
Right, so, and essentially what Oliver North and the others wanted to do was use your facility as a fundraising nexus for the Afghan Mujahideen and Nicaraguan Contras, the UNITA, the Savimbi people in Angola, and all these other groups that the CIA was covertly funding in their guerrilla operations around the world.
Oh, yeah, they said that. As a matter of fact, their notice that they sent out, which was not with my approval, that I had to cancel it, the notice that they sent out said it was for the Mujahideen, for the Contras and the Mujahideen. And, of course, this was the same time, it wasn't just my imagination. So they said that they wanted the Freedom Fighter Night for those people. Right. And so there was no question about that.
And we just heard that clip where President Clinton was asked about the role of the Mina airfield in this whole Contra cocaine and in exchange for weapons program, where Mina in his home state was being used, and he knew fully well about that. And then he basically did the soft shoe after Sarah asked him the question.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any question about it that, a lot of these...
Yes, John, hold on. We've got a short commercial break, and we'll be back, and I'll let you answer that right after this short break. This is Wayne Madsen from Washington.